It's on.
It's on? We have sound?
I said I just started it. I have to...
Well, no, I don't know what
we don't
mean.
have sound yet.
Okay.
Oh, I just smashed my finger.
Okay, now we have sound.
No. Ow, my finger, dude.
Okay, dude.
Hey, dude. It's Sunday baseball. For those of you listening on demand, we like to wait for the chat room to get sound because we just enjoy the interaction with you people so much. So you'll just have to wait a couple moments until we get sound in the chat room, and then we'll get started on Lady and the Legend, right, Leonard?
That's right. Who's the lady and who's the legend?
Well, I have to be the legend.
Okay.
So you're the lady.
Okay.
Hello, lady.
Just tell me when we're ready to go.
Okay, I'll tell you. What do we got? Pictures in the chat? Chris from Cambridge. Looking at the birthdays. Maglio Ordonez today.
Yep.
I saw you looking him up. What were you trying to find?
Well, no, he's the perfect candidate.
For what?
To ask if he's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, is he?
He's close, but he's not a Hall of Famer. And he's a 300 batting average. He was a terrific player.
All right, we're just waiting for the sound. It's taking a little longer than usual today, so I hope you'll bear with us here. Do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
No. But he's
all
close.
Right. Sound is good.
Sound is good.
Tell everybody in the chat room.
Okay, sound is good. There you go.
Okay, welcome aboard, right?
Right. What do you mean, right?
Welcome aboard?
Yeah, right.
I'm waiting for you to say it.
Welcome aboard, everybody, on a lovely Sunday morning. The Lady and the Legend is here.
We're back together.
Back together again after a brief encounter of...
when I got home, I really liked you for about...
20 minutes.
2 hours.
2 hours? I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
but anyway... we were
once I got Chinese food, I didn't need
you didn't need me. We're welcoming in everybody to the chat room. And Mitchell Horston is here, Daniel Ferrara, Dad's a Premier, Chris Gallo, Chris from Cambridge, Boston, Paul. He's got COVID and everything else, and he still shows up for the chat room. Wow, talk about dedication, okay? So we're all
Chris
here.
And Debbie Gallo, Dad a Premier, Mitchell.
Wait, what happened to Craig Roloff? He was here.
Southpaw, he's still there.
Yeah.
7 minutes ago. He'll check back in. Turd is here.
That's SM King Turd is here.
And
Tommy
Turd Jr.
Turd Jr. and Mrs. Turd and Mr. Turd and everybody's here. So, and today is a special day. Okay, one of my very dear friends, Brian Ambos.
He's
birthday.
My friend, too.
And Andrea's friend, too.
Happy birthday, Brian.
Brian Ambos, happy birthday to you and the whole deal, okay?
And we talk about the birthday today from Chris, who likes to post the baseball player birthdays. Maglio Ordonez.
Maglio Ordonez is very interesting.
50 today.
Very interesting. Maglio Ordonez was a terrific player. Does anybody in the chat room, let's start it off, okay? Does anybody in the chat room think that Maglio Ordonez, with a 300 batting average and an all-star, an MVP, Laura's here, anybody think Maglio Ordonez should be in the Hall of Fame?
Do you?
No.
Laura, hello to Laura Mary.
No, I don't, okay? Lenny and Andrea are the best people ever. Thank you so much. I know I am. I didn't know you included her in it, though. All right, but
dude, I'm the wheel that makes this thing go.
You're the wheel, okay? Methical trying to get into the chat room. He's in. So, anybody think that Maglio Ordonez should be a Hall of Famer? Come on, the guy had a 300 batting average. His career, Chris Gallo says his career was too short. But within his career, he had some outstanding numbers. But here's the deal. As good as he was, okay, his numbers, some people say he's better than Scott Rowland. Some people say his numbers are better than Mattingly. But here's the point. And I said this the other day, I will repeat it. To be a Hall of Famer, okay? And, of course, based on Harold Baines. You can't go by Harold Baines. That screws it all up.
Well,
but,
Turd was just making a point.
No, he's not wrong. Harold Baines.
What is the Harold Baines scale?
I don't know. Harold Baines was put in as a favor to somebody, and it's kind of screwed
because
up
it's a popularity contest and it's a joke.
Well, same thing with Mazeroski. But here's the point. A Hall of Famer, his stats can't be compared to anybody else. If he's a Hall of Famer, his stats are separate. They can't be compared. He's got to be better than everybody. And Maglio Ordonez was pretty good in the pack of great players, but he was never a Hall of Famer.
Daniel says Hall of Very Good.
That's right.
The Hall of Media.
No,
darlings.
Not media. These are good players. But if you have 10 good players playing in the same time, in the same era, you don't have 10 Hall of Famers. It's the guy that sticks out.
Well,
like King Hap always sticks out, okay?
J.R. Mads, yay.
That's it. Good morning,
Singers.
Okay.
And also Chris and Penny Gallo. Or
That's
Debbie.
Right.
Sorry, I'm getting the Captain Danny and Chris Gallo's wife's
Everybody's
confused.
getting mixed up.
Anyway, let me
nice
tell you.
Nice to see May Nick, Methodical. Whoa, look at this chat room. We are rolling here. Good morning, everybody. Go ahead.
Chris Gallo got to sit with Maglio's family at a White Sox game. He said it was great fun.
Really? Well, Maglio was a terrific player. I had him many years in fantasy baseball. The Cubs now have signed Hector Neris.
Yes.
I'm sure by now you all know that. He's got a club option attached for the 2025 season. But it's Hector Neris, okay?
If he makes 60 appearances, his club option for $9 million will vest automatically. So, let's see. You know he's best known for his time as the Phillies closer. Spent the last 2 seasons in Houston. Actually had the best season of his 10-year career last year with a 1.71 ERA, 68 1/3 innings out of the bullpen. That's different than being a closer, but he had an excellent 28.2% strikeout rate. What do you think? Because now you have Adbert Alzolay.
He's nothing. He's gone. Albert Alzolay is not the closer anymore.
Not true.
What do you mean not
We don't
true?
know that for sure.
We don't know it, but if we have to make plans for the season and we have Adbert Alzolay, do not think you have the Cubs closer.
Well,
simple.
You shouldn't think you have the club's closer with Neris either. But
who else could be? NC Almonte?
It's either Adbert Alzolay and Hector Neris, and I think they'll share. I think that this is a situation where they're going to share.
No way.
Yes.
Neris is a good player.
Neris is 34
He had a
years
171 ERA over 68 1/3 innings out
in
of
the
Astros.
bullpen.
Out of the Astros bullpen.
He's not a closer.
He had 28% strikeout rate. He had some saves.
Okay, you could say what you want. I will disagree with you. I am on the side of RotoWire, who has Alzolay still as the closer and Hector Neris as the first bullpen
No way.
guy.
And as much as I like Jeff Erickson and RotoWire, they are full of bull dinky and poppycock. They're wrong.
Okay, well,
right,
I disagree.
Write it down.
We
Chat room, remember, Andy and I have a bet. I say Hector Neris is the closer, and she says...
I think they'll share saves.
I
mean, Hector Neris didn't get more than 2 saves last year, and RotoWire still, even after he signed, only projects him for 4 saves. And no, none of these projections are guaranteed. But Hector Neris, currently ADP 568, you're guaranteed a handful of saves at least. And that's obviously going to change now that he signed. It takes a little while for these ADPs to start changing. But hello, Mitchell says I'm right. And you know if he says it, then it's true.
It's true. So we mentioned...
You got coleslaw on you, Leonard.
I got coleslaw all over me.
What?
But, all right. Adbert Alzolay, we mentioned... Who were we just talking about?
We're talking about Hector Neris.
Yeah, Hector Neris. We're talking about... Who is the free agent we were talking... Maglio Ordonez. So let's throw another one at you. Okay? And this is a tough one.
Wait a minute. Before we go on to this one, I have another tidbit.
All right, go ahead.
Ottavino signed with the Mets.
Yeah, we got plenty of those. No, but you can't draft Ottavino. He's nothing.
He lost himself money, was my point.
is Garrett Cole a Hall of Famer?
So far, he has 1,859 innings pitched with 2,152 strikeouts. You know, you're asking someone who's literally so biased against Garrett Cole, but the numbers speak for themselves.
But he's not a Hall of Famer.
Not yet.
He's not. He's not a Hall of Famer.
How is he not? So if he's on this trajectory for another few years, he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Well, he might be. But how about, I'll tell you a couple of other pitchers. Max Scherzer, is he a Hall of Famer?
I don't know, man. This is a case of where you just wonder why this guy hasn't retired. I know he's good still, but first of all, he had to have back surgery, okay? And that's okay, but a back surgery for a pitcher is very serious stuff. And this says that he is on pace to begin his workouts shortly after spring training begins next month, but there's a lengthy rehab ahead for Scherzer, and he's going to be sidelined into June or even July. And look at his ADP. Good grief. 130? People are drafting this guy 130. That's just absurd. So, for what it's worth, he allowed 10 of his 28 homers in July, which led up to his trade. And he did pitch well for Texas until his back started causing problems, and he just let us all down in the playoffs. How about this?
Scherzer is a Hall of Famer before Garrett Cole.
Don't draft this guy at 130.
I'm not saying draft him.
Well,
I'm just talking about who is a better Hall of Famer, Max Scherzer or Garrett Cole?
Well, I would say that Garrett, obviously Scherzer has the years in the innings on Cole.
Okay.
So far.
Now, are you?
But if Scherzer just continues to stay in baseball until he can't pitch anymore, it's going to really hurt his chances because it messes with your ERA.
Chat room is just fantastic today on a Sunday morning. I love you guys. Thank you, son, girls, and women, men, women, and children, Laura, everybody. Now, about 15 teams recently watched Noah Syndergaard. He's still in the headlines. And the word is he hit the mid-90s. Does that mean anything to you?
I'm talking in the chat room.
Okay, the Pirates are interested. Now, Robert Murray, a pretty good MLB insider, talks about the Pirates being interested in Noah Syndergaard. Okay? And I asked him if the Mets were attending, and he said no word. Okay? On the Mets attending. Okay? But still, it's pretty amazing. Now, you know, in 2000, the number of games in 2023 where the starting pitcher threw 6 innings, what team do you think had the most starters who pitched at least 6 innings?
I'm not ready to go on. I still have some comments about Noah Syndergaard.
Oh, okay. I'm very sorry.
He had a horrible season. He's 31 years old, so he's still not like too old to think that he'll pitch okay. But he posted a 6.50 ERA and 18 starts, and he only struck out 56 batters in 88 innings. His strikeouts are down horribly, and he hasn't been a great strikeout guy since 2019. In 2022, he only struck out 95 guys in 134 innings. His horrific numbers do not give him a great outlook going forward, okay? His ADP is 600, and I would say I don't even want to draft Noah Syndergaard. A lot of people, well, for me anyway, a lot of these free agents that are left, I'm totally willing to study these guys and absolutely draft them before they get signed. If you're pretty sure they're going to get signed. We talked about Blake Snell yesterday. Yes. Is he going to sign? And I say yes, he's going to sign. He's not going to get the money he wants, but he's going to sign, right?
I predict that Blake Snell and Cody Bellinger will sign on the same team.
Okay.
Okay? How's that? Maybe. The Cubbies, this team really got me. They get a new manager.
Yes.
And they get
nothing else. Well, they did get an Imanaga. He should be pretty good.
And Hector Neris. but they didn't get any, and they certainly need Bellinger, and they need another starter. I am going to predict right now that the Chicago Cubs wind up with two of the remaining free agents, maybe the top two, Bellinger and Snell.
I'm drafting Imanaga, but you want to know why?
Why?
Because he works out with this javelin. It's not a javelin pole. It's like this flexible pole that Bauer works out with before he warms up.
Bauer. You're always comparing people to Bauer.
Well, he works with Bauer side by side. And let me tell you what, Bauer helps pitchers get better. Anyway, Jim Bowden says Bauer is probably never going to play for MLB again. And my comment is this. He could be absolutely right. And I said, I'm pretty sure no team will hire Bauer until his court cases are behind him. And I will say this loud and proud. He needs to marry Rachel Luba immediately.
Okay, goodbye. You know, a lot of people in the chat room are asking, when are you going to the airport again? When are you going to see your mother?
Oh, God, hopefully never.
And the reason they're asking is because they want King Hap to do more shows.
They like King
They
Hap.
love King Hap.
He's a likable guy.
And if you miss King Hap shows, go on demand. He's right there. He's always on demand. He's always looking for something to do. King Hap, you're terrific. You're great. Thank you so much.
Check out his Twitch channel at Happy Hour SC. Okay,
but wait a second. We're going to have King Hap be much more part of the station.
He does everything. What else do you want him to do?
Well, you know, more podcasts. You do more podcasts.
The guy does podcasts all the time.
Okay.
He does a great job. Now listen, Lenny just likes you, King Hap, so he wants you around more.
Sorry about that.
Now listen to me. In 2023, there's the number of times, okay, for each team that a pitcher threw 6 innings or more.
Yeah. What team had the most?
Yeah, what team had the most and what team had the least of times where their starting pitcher threw 6 innings or more. And I got to say,
it's important.
There's a couple on here that are down at the bottom where I say this is absolute a need that needs to be addressed. Cincinnati, the third lowest of times. And they just have... The Reds need a guy like Snell. The Reds need a guy to pitch,
they need
a veteran.
A veteran pitcher who can give them innings.
And they have a great slew of youngsters. But good grief. Turd, when are you drafting Ellie? I've seen Ellie going in like the second round, the third round, the fourth round. I love Ellie, don't get me wrong, but I have a lot of hesitations drafting a youngster like this who did prove that he wasn't fully acclimated to MLB at the time. Yes, he started out excellent, but he didn't finish the season that great, and his batting average is horrible. I just wonder, where are you drafting Ellie? Are you going to have shares of this guy? I know he's so exciting, and having him on your team is a wonderful thing, but... what are you going to have to give up to get this kid? And are you sure? And Turd, his biggest fan, even says he will be Ellie free this year. Now, Turd brings up another thing about Yasiel Puig. Poor Puig, the media just hates this guy.
Yeah, he's nothing. He's not doing anything now.
He's doing great.
Yeah, but he's not going to be playing.
I don't know if he's coming back to MLB, but the media has been horrible to this guy. They tried to blame him for this brawl that broke out. His agent this poor guy is screaming out on X. He's like, no matter what I do, all I'm trying to do is be better at baseball. I'm helping my team win. I did not cause this fight. They hit him from the back. They released the video. And then they did get a couple media outlets to take it back. But this is just so typical of the sports media vultures in the world. Now, let's see. Do we have any guesses for the most times a pitcher went 6 innings?
What team?
They don't have any guesses.
It was Philadelphia.
88 times they had someone going into the 6th inning.
It was Philadelphia, and the Phillies could be a very interesting long shot.
Seattle's number 2, Turd.
Yeah, Seattle's number. The Phillies with Harper and Stott and Turner and Bohm. That's truly one of the best infielders around. Now, you know who else has been moving up the ladder in the offseason? Brandon Marsh.
Oh,
Brandon Marsh.
He's the starting left fielder, it
looks like.
with
Johan Rojas and Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber. Keep an eye, and we are so proud of Brandon Marsh. When we went to Arizona, he was nothing. everybody was talking about who? Who was the other guy?
Joey Adele.
Joey Adele. And then we talked to an usher or somebody, and he says, "Oh, watch out for Brandon." So I don't have his name, but let's give him credit.
No usher told us that.
Yeah, it was
we
an
saw
usher.
him ourselves.
Well, we saw him ourselves, but he reiterated to two re-idiots that Tina Luna is here. Good morning.
Yes,
that,
Mitchell makes a great point. Snell hardly ever reaches 6 innings, so if it's innings you want, Snell is not the guy. That's true.
Absolutely. But Brandon Marsh, keep an eye on this kid. He is one of the most talked about players right now, and of course we mentioned Cincinnati. This is a team, Cincinnati, that I'll tell you, they could be anything. They could be awful. They could. I mean, anybody like Encarnacion Strand? Anybody like Matt McClain?
Yes, I like all these guys.
We don't
Another
know.
one is Matt McClain going too early.
Yeah, you talk about Ellie De La Cruz, Jonathan India. Nobody knows about him. Spencer Steer. TJ
Nobody knows
Friedel.
about India.
This is a Cincinnati team.
Looks like they're going to keep India. Now they have a huge logjam in the middle infield.
Right. Yes.
So, J.R. Matz, what's your thoughts on the Cincinnati pitching? Do you need more pitchers, or do you have a couple of youngsters that are about to come up and make some noise? Now, free agent pitcher Alex Wood in agreement with the Oakland.
Nice to hear Tom. Nice to see Tommy Johnson in here. Go ahead.
Wood agreed to terms on a contract with the Athletics yesterday, and the particulars of the deal are not known, but it is pending a physical. He only made 12 starts and 17 relief appearances last season with the Giants. His ERA was 4.33. His whip was even worse, 1.43 whip, 74 strikeouts and 42 walks in 97 and 2/3 innings. He's 33 years old. He's a lefty. He's going to slide into Oakland rotation, and this person claims that the hope for Oakland is that he will have a good first half so that they could trade him to a contender at the deadline. Okay, but that's just an opinion. I mean,
yeah, well, he's 33,
right?
Lefty. He'll be a very valuable addition to some team.
601 ADP. He's signing with Oakland. What do you mean?
Well, as you said, Oakland's looking to trade him.
That's an opinion.
No, it's not an opinion.
That's what they said. We're going to sign
baseball is. No, they're not going to say it. But here you have a team that's predicted to be in last place, and they take a 30. Well, how old is he? 33 years old, sliding into the Oakland rotation. How easy is it to slide into the Oakland rotation? Well, let's see how easy, because Brandon Wood absolutely...
Hello, Tito, Luna, and Jeter.
Yep. Okay, excuse me.
Well, let's answer his question. He says
hiccups.
he's been trying to trade Marsh away in a league, and he wants to know what's different because his numbers were not great last season.
Well, it's mainly how he plays the game that gives people a lot of hope. So we'll see.
Look at the dogs are listening to our podcast.
The dogs are listening.
You see
but Oakland's got a rotation. Sean Newcomb is still in the rotation. Remember Sean Newcomb, the lefty?
What? Yeah.
Joey Estes, Joe Boyle, J.P. Sears, Paul Blackburn. Wow. There's a whole bunch of nothing here. So the Athletics, who are going to be carried this year by Zach Geloff, all right, the youngster in the outfield, the J.J. Bleday, may hit some home runs. We'll see. But Oakland's got a lot of work to do. They will wind up trading Mr. Wood at some point during the season. Okay?
Okay, Leonard.
Are you ready for that?
I'm ready for the Orioles. Where's Eddie Heckman? Maybe he's at church today.
Yeah, maybe he is.
All right. The Orioles remain active in the starting pitching market. I talked about this yesterday. Michael Lorenzen is among the free agents with who they are interested, but we did talk about this yesterday. So
yes, okay, but the Orioles are in there. Yankees had they haven't had a lone All-Star since Roberto Kelly. They've had more than one All-Star every year.
Since 1993.
Multiple All-Stars. So the Yankees, pretty good for the All-Stars. And it's Anthony D.B. Miller is in the chat room. Where you been, kid? Nice to see you. We're still waiting for Craig Roloff to show. He was here until the show started, and then he left.
I'm still waiting for J.R. Matz to tell me if there's any young pitchers coming up to take the brunt of these innings over in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah?
All right, so multiple All-Stars every year since 1993. The Dodgers have had multiple All-Stars every year since 2014. And the Astros have had multiple All-Stars every year since 2015.
Do you know that Major League Baseball pitchers struck out batters with wild pitches last year? Five of them. All right, Clark Schmidt, Corbin Burns, Kyle Gibson, Spencer Strider, Tyler Glass. They all struck out batters with wild pitches. That's just...
I don't care about that.
That's just a little tidbit. That's all.
Okay, that's a nugget.
And here's an interesting one. It's a little tidbit.
Yes, this is for you, Daniel.
White Sox manager Pedro Grifol named Dylan Cease the most traded player in the offseason.
That didn't get traded.
Dylan Cease.
Opening day starter.
But
does that even mean anything, though?
Well, yeah, but the writers who write about this said, assuming he's not traded before that.
Maybe they figured he'd get more in a trade if he was the opening day starter. He's worth more.
How much are you paying? Now, we mentioned Max Scherzer before, but here's another little update on Scherzer.
Chase Petty, we talked about yesterday, J.R. Matz. I found him from my go-to prospect guy on Twitter, Eric
really?
Cross04. He talked about Chase Petty, and we did a whole segment on him yesterday at the very end of the podcast, and he's not really ready to come. So if that's the next anticipated starter for the Reds to emerge, then we need more pitching for the Reds this year immediately.
Well, their pitchers just have to get some experience. It's a very young pitching staff. They are going to be terrific, but you can't latch on to them now and expect to win anything. You gotta just know who they are, watch them, and grab them at the right time. Same thing with Scherzer and Jake DeGrom. How much are we spending on Scherzer and DeGrom?
Well,
that's the
I told
question.
you Scherzer is way too high at ADP 150.
Well, what about Jake DeGrom?
Let me look him up real quick.
Okay.
He's probably going earlier.
Well, Jake DeGrom and Max
Rightfully
Scherzer,
so.
both on Texas. Boy, I think Texas made a huge mistake taking these two guys. But
Jake DeGrom, ADP 376.
Yeah, they're up there.
And he is going to start throwing in the spring, and he didn't say exactly when he'll start his program, but he's not due back till August 1st.
Right. Midsummer
So
for
why,
both of them.
Why is Scherzer due back in July?
They don't
and
know.
he's
They're
going
just
130 overall, and DeGrom is back in August, and he's going 376 overall, which means he's not even being drafted, okay?
No, right.
Shoot.
So just be... Andrea has her favorites. Now, David Robertson, another big move. The closers yesterday came out of the woodwork. David Robertson and the Texas Rangers, 1 year contract, $11 to $12 million range. He has to take a physical. So they don't back up their bullpen. What they did was they got themselves a closer. Jose Leclerc has never been a popular or a guaranteed closer.
Yes, he was in Texas a few years back, 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, do you think that Leclerc is the closer, or you think it's going to be David Robertson?
These two are going to share. Now, David Robertson was outstanding with the Mets. He pitched a 2.05 ERA and a 1 WHIP over 44 innings. He had 14 saves, 7 holds, and 4 wins. Now, this is a guy that's 38 years old, and when he got traded to Miami, he got removed from his closing duties after he blew 3 of 7 save opportunities. Okay, so 14 of the 18 saves he got last year were with the Mets. Now, he also had 10 holds. He had solid ratios, a 3.03 ERA, a 1.19 WHIP. I'm taking a chance on this guy in drafts late. Okay, you could get him so cheap. ADP 435 right now. Now, Jose Leclerc, 30 years old, 2.68 ERA last year with a 1.14 WHIP, and he only had 4 saves, but he did strike out 42 and only walked 13. Over the final 3 months of the season. That's 30 3 2/3 innings.
That's them King Turd. He's the Texas guy.
His biggest problem is the walk rate, and he's going 205. But honestly, in my opinion, you can't draft Leclerc at 205 anymore.
Hold it. Time out.
What does our resident insider say?
He's our Texas insider.
Yes.
And SM King Turd says 100% Leclerc will be the closer. Wow. Okay?
I disagree again.
I disagree. I get the opinion, and I haven't talked to anybody, nobody's filled me in, that Texas really is not that high on Leclerc, or Leclerc, whatever his name is.
I think they're going to share.
I think if, as long as Robertson pitches well, I think he's the closer.
Well, I'll tell you what, Turd, he's smart. He says you should draft Leclerc at 205, and I will not be doing it, but I absolutely respect Turd's opinion, and he is our insider for Texas Rangers.
And you know what? I am absolutely in love with so much in this. With you. Right?
You're in love with me?
With King Turd. Look at this chat room. Look at this chat room on a Sunday morning, ladies and gentlemen. Malpal is still
Tina.
sleeping.
No, he's here.
He is here.
Yes.
When did he get here?
Malpal and Tina.
Malpal and Tina just got here. Holy mackerel. Look at this chat room. I thank you all from the absolutely.
And even Danny's here with Penny, but he's disguised as someone else.
Someone else. Okay. Now let's talk about a very popular player.
Okay.
You have to have a podcast.
Buxton?
With Byron Buxton. He assured fans, at the Twin Fest over this weekend, that he would be back in center field in 2024.
And that makes my stomach hurt. Do you know why? Because this guy runs into walls like crazy, and he was safe from running into walls when he was a DH. And you know what? This is a season to be jolly for Byron Buxton's ADP. You can take a risk on this guy because his ADP fluctuates so much year to year. Yesterday I made a comment about Buxton because one guy said on X that he all of a sudden has all these shares of Buxton. I don't blame him because the price is right for him, but now that he says he's going back to what's he play center, he's great defensively, don't get me wrong, this guy is a stellar
but that
defensive.
doesn't help
no
us.
Fantasy community is just crying over this because he's going to be hurt.
I guess Benjamin, by the way, is Danny Fuller.
Yes, Danny.
Okay, go ahead. So, does anybody have any confidence in Byron Buxton? He's 30 years old. He was limited to DH only in 2023. He battled knee issues, and then he had knee surgery. He had nagging injuries, and he couldn't play defense. He may have contributed to his diminished results at the plate. It's very important to be a player of offense and defense. I know when I played, it was it couldn't be very hard to be a DH.
But you were the best.
Oh, it's no question.
Yeah.
And you could ask anybody.
Well, Turd also says, here's his reasoning. I love it when you say that you should draft somebody at a certain price, and then you tell us why. And Turd did that. He says the guys that Leclerc competed with last season for saves are all gone. Plus, he dominated the playoffs and in high leverage spots. He says, book it. He's the closer. So, look, nothing is set in stone here. We love to take insight from our chat room, which is the smartest baseball people around.
That's right. King Turd, a fantastic individual. Now, let's get back to Byron Buxton. He hit 207 in 347 at-bats. I got to ask you, wow, does that really take you off of him? All right? Does that really say, you know what, healthy, even if he's healthy?
Chris from Cambridge says it's Brett Saberhagen disease. One good season, one crap, one good, one crap. Well, Buxton is just an injury phenom, dude.
Yeah.
But even if he's injured half the year, look, you know what you're getting kind of with him. When he's healthy, he's going to score crazy points for you in fantasy. And points leagues is where it's really at for him. He just scores all over the place. But when he's hurt, I mean, look, you got to figure out you weighs the pros and cons here. But the ADP this year, the price is right, in my opinion.
We have to go over all the players because we promised you that we are going to be talking about everybody. So in your draft, when Carlos Carrasco's name comes up, you don't say, duh.
No, you say another injured dude.
You know that he's in agreement with Cleveland. I can't call them the Guardians. A minor league deal with an invite too big.
He grew up there, didn't he? Didn't he grow up?
Invited to spring training, okay? So, but I'll tell you what. He spent more than a decade with the team, pitching to a 3.77 ERA. He struggled with injuries. He's been ineffective.
Yeah.
I would say, without a doubt, when his name comes up, just let him go.
Wait a minute. What if it's the last round?
I don't
this guy?
care. He's nothing.
All right, so here's the deal. He's
and it's strong 2020. So what are you laughing at?
He's not even good enough for RotoWire to put an outlook for him, okay?
Right.
So you got nothing.
Okay.
But his ADP is 5.96. His ERA last year was 6.80, and can you imagine his WHIP was 1.70? Good grief. He has a finger problem, but he did sign yesterday with the Guardians, and he's estimated to come back 2-1. But if you remember just a few years ago, we were drafting him because he was ready to come back, and then he hurt himself again just pitching in warm-ups, so he was out for another 3 or 4 months. I understand if you just leave his ass there, dude. Do not draft Carlos Carrasco. I agree with you.
Well, you got Carrasco. What about Robbie Ray? Very similar. He's going to throw.
You can't draft him either, man.
You know what? I want to meet Susan Slusser.
I know you do. But she's your friend, isn't she?
Well, yeah. She almost turned me in for something. I forget what. Anyway.
We were posting her articles up on our
she
site. She didn't like it.
Robbie Ray throwing from 120 feet Saturday. He hopes to begin throwing off a mound early on in spring training and return around the All-Star break is the best case scenario.
Okay, the best case for Ray is to return around the All-Star break. I love that he's with the Giants, but he's not ready to come back. Now, his ADP is 470, and I'll give him a chance before I'm drafting Carrasco. But even before that, I got to give some other guys a chance. There's a lot of these injured pitchers that are just so far down on the ADP. But look, he ended the season last year 0-1 with an 8.10 ERA, a 2.70 WHIP. Holy moly. He signed $115 million in 2021 for 5 years. And then it wasn't with Toronto, it was with the Mariners. Anyways, he didn't have a spectacular season in 2022, but he did get enough to have an outlook written about him, so that's good. He's set to throw from 120 feet yesterday. So
interesting.
What are you doing with Ray? You going to draft him late in your draft?
No, you can't draft him. But
he's an innings eater, dude.
If his name comes up and somebody goes $1, you go 2.
Nah.
No, you don't go 2?
No.
Why not?
You just leave him there till everybody only has $1.
All right, we're going to try something. All right, quiet. Nobody has done this with Andrea, part of the show. Phone calls. Are you ready? We're going to take them. Andy, put it in the chat room. 631. You got that? Everybody get ready. We're waiting. I beg. Every day I beg for a phone call. 631. 406-7141, 631-406-7141. Now, look.
Now, let me say one thing.
There's going to be a point where you're going to have keepers to talk about. You're going to have prospects to talk about, trades. We want you to get ready to call us at any time. Nobody else offers that for free. Nobody.
But only to the people that come to the chat room.
To the people that come to the chat room, God bless you.
Now listen, Malpal and I are doing the podcast of the year. We have been talking about his formula for the last 4 or 5 years straight. We have messed around with it a little bit to try to make it more clarified, and it's so easy. We were talking about it compared to Sierra yesterday, the projection Sierra. And, here's the thing. These formulas, Sierra and F and XBIP and all these expected ones and everything, they get a little bit intimidating. But I'm telling you, we have the podcast of the century talking about pitching. We will do it in the middle of February. It's going to be something to listen to because this formula is simple, it's easy, and it is very, very valuable. And we've been testing it for 4 years now, and we have come up with a lot of great pitchers that were ready to break out because of this formula. And you guys can all look forward to that, and it's coming up middle of February. We'll also put our leagues together. We'll do two mixed leagues for the chat room guys, and then we have our only leagues that we already do. So we're looking forward to the draft season, and you can catch us here every day of the week. Monday through Friday is Leonard at 9 a.m., and then Saturday baseball is me at 9, and then,
what King Hap's going to be here more than he probably even understands.
And King Hap does a happy hour on Wednesday night at 7:30. You can find him at Twitch under his channels. You should sign up for Twitch just to go in there and play marbles.
631. This is the last chance. 406-7141. You can speak to Andy. You can ask her out for Saturday night. I don't think you have any plans for Saturday.
Only with Laura.
Yeah,
I'm going to a Mets game.
That's right. Andy and Laura going to a Mets game, and Mary, and the whole deal. Thank you, everybody. This has been one of the greatest chat rooms ever to support us. Anthony Miller, good to see you again. Boston Paul, Chris from Cambridge, Chris Gallo, Data Premier, Daniel Ferrara, woo! Danny Fuller, King Hap, Laura, May Nick, Mal Pal, Merrill, Mitchell's here somewhere. Mythical, there's Mitchell right there. Rotorius is here. Roto Lady, Southpaw, SM King Turd, Tino Luna,
Jeter
Luna, and we got a whole bunch of guests in the chat room.
Yeah, if you're a guest and you want to sign up, we don't send spam. We don't do any of that. I don't even bother looking at the metadata for anything. But if you do sign up and you're waiting for an email to verify, because, you'll get a lot of spam if you don't do that, just let one of us know and we'll approve you immediately.
Yeah.
We love to have people in the chat room. That's why we keep doing it.
That's right. And we thank you, everybody. Last chance for a phone call. Go ahead. I'll give you 30 seconds.
Leave them alone, Leonard. They don't want to call.
Okay. And we'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Thanks, everybody. There's no question. It may be a good podcast, but it's a fantastic bunch of people that support us and let us do what we love the best, and that's the podcast. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you again tomorrow.